In today's Leeds news, Rodrigo recalled to Spain squad. Allardyce not the man for Leeds. Leeds managerial shortlist revealed. Bielsa was contacted. Bate to go again. And stadium and ownership latest. Morning, folks. Share here on the 2nd of June on a Friday. Last video of the week should, so unless something crazy happens over the course of the weekend. I hope everyone's had a really good week. It's been a weird week for Leeds fans. Lots of ups and downs, lots of stuff going on, the usual, I suppose. But we're going to crack on and get into the news because there's still a fair bit of stuff floating around. That seems to be the case so far. Also, really quick, just to say a massive thanks to everyone who supported the channel this week and watched the videos. It's been the highest viewed week that we've had at the channel since launch. So every video this week is at over 10,000 views. So just a massive thanks to everyone who's watched, liked, commented on the video. So I really appreciate that. Let's start off and get into the news about the recalls. And Rodrigo has been called up to the latest Spanish squad. Rodrigo has spent a period of time out of the Spain squad and not played for them since Bielsa was fired as Leeds United manager. He returns to the squad after a very impressive season, 14 goals for Leeds this year. In what was still an injury hit season for the striker, but still managed to put in 14 goals in the Premier League, his best return since joining Leeds. So congratulations to Rodrigo. Unfortunately, when back in the Spain squad, probably looks like we'll lose him now. Any hope we had of maybe retaining players was you'd hope the international career wasn't going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. But, doesn't look likely. Let's move on. And as we all know at this stage, Sam Allardyce is no longer Leeds United head coach. After Big Sam met with the Leeds United ownership board, Angus Kinnear, whoever's left yesterday, they have decided to mutually part ways. Sam has had a say on this, and what he has said on the situation is the following. It's been an honour to manage Leeds United, a great club with an incredible fan base who deserve to be in the Premier League. He went on to say that he's really enjoyed it, especially working with the players, but also Carl Robinson and Robbie Keane as well. He said that he went on to thank Angus Kinnear for giving him the opportunity to do the job and thank the fans as well and wish Leeds all the best. He said that a project like Leeds will probably need multiple years, and at his current stage of his career, he's probably not in a position to commit to that. Angus Kinnear has also made a statement about the decision, and what he has said is the following. We thank Sam for being brave enough to step in and do it and do all that he could to help save us. So with Allardyce now moved aside, the quest for a new manager continues, and a short list of managers seems to have been revealed. And there's lots of it here, so we'll go through them all one by one. So according to Daily Star, Leeds owner Andrea Radrizzani is a fan of Brendan Rodgers, and although it is unlikely he could tempt Rodgers into the championship with Leeds, he is expected to try and speak to the former Leicester and Celtic manager about the position at Leeds. However, the Sun are saying that Leeds may look at Lorient manager Régis Lebris. Lebris is in his first season as a manager in France and had a pretty good start to the season, at one point getting Lorient to second. His attacking style of football is seen as the main reason for Leeds. However, they did manage to finish 10th in the league, losing as many games as they won, if not more than they won. And this move would be seen as a huge gamble for Leeds in a season that Leeds probably need to minimise gambles and go with experience and credible decisions over projects and gambles. That's the second one. Rob Edwards also popped up today, and according to the Sun, Leeds are interested in speaking to Rob Edwards, which is very unlikely, seeing as he's just gotten Luton Town promoted to the Premier League and will probably want to have a crack at the Premier League himself. The Guardian goes on to say that there's a four-person shortlist that Leeds are trying to work through. The shortlist consists of Rodgers, Corberan, Steven Gerrard, and Régis Lebris. In that shortlist, Steven Gerrard for me is the big no on that one. I think the other three, if you could tempt Rodgers, it would be a good move. You all know that I'm a fan of Carlos Corberan. I'd like to see him at Leeds. And Lebris is that gamble situation there as well. So it's unlikely that Leeds will make that move. What has also come out this morning is on the back of rumours, and Joe Weinman at the Just Joe show did a stream on this not too long ago, and a couple of people laughed at him saying that he wasn't accurate on it. But according to The Athletic, Leeds did speak to Marcelo Bielsa after Javi Garcia's sacking to try and tempt him to return to Leeds. In the article, it says that Leeds ownership did reach out. 49ers specifically are mentioned here, and it says the 49ers are active in the manager search. They discussed the possibility of going back to former head coach Marcelo Bielsa a few weeks ago. They held at least one Zoom call with him shortly before he decided to take the Uruguay job. What should be said there is he'd already started the process with the Uruguay national team and had already agreed terms in principle. Marcelo Bielsa is a man of principle and honor, and he was never likely to turn his back on Uruguay after agreeing to what he had agreed to with them. And he's also a fan of what Uruguay are trying to do down there as well. So a tough one. But the Athletic also confirmed as well that Carlos Corberán is being looked at by Leeds as well. So same names popping up in several places starts to add a bit of credibility. If you go back to the list we had after Jesse Marsh, pretty much everyone on the rumoured list was either approached or turned down at some point, but every single one of them looked to be a credible link. So I would assume we can say the same about this as well. Looking at players potentially going out, and again from the Athletic, Lewis Bate, who had a pretty successful year at Oxford. I've seen Leeds live, and a few others say that he didn't do well enough at Oxford, which is untrue. He had a very good season before his injury that finished the season early in March. Carl Robinson described the player when he was managing Oxford, now Leeds United assistant temporarily or not. He described Lewis Bate as being a Premier League style player, and it wasn't a matter of if but when he would make it as a Premier League player. But the Athletic are saying that Lewis Bate is set to go out away from the club again. They said it's not confirmed if the move will be a temporary move or a permanent move, but he is expected to go out from Leeds again this summer. It could be another Championship club, it could be another League One club, but he did do well at Oxford last year. That has to be said. He was one of their standout players for a long time during the season. So still 20 years of age, still has plenty of time. Another loan, if Leeds are going to bring an experienced midfielder, another loan wouldn't do him badly. There's clearly talent there, and just nurtured the right way, and you could get a really good player coming through there. Moving on to the main story, which follows on from yesterday's story, which is the stadium and ownership battle that's going on at Ellen Road at the moment. And yesterday, the Athletic released a story that we covered here as well, that Andrea Radrizzani had attempted to use Elland Road as a guarantee against a £26 million loan to buy Sampdoria. What's come out in the aftermath is that Company House don't have anything on the books to say that this was actually done. However, what is fact on this is that the heads of terms were signed by Andrea Radrizzani. A lot of people yesterday saying it's his ground, he can do what he wants. We had a bit of an argument yesterday, but it turns out it's not his ground and he can't do what he wants. So according to the Athletic, we'll go through this a bit. They say that Rads did buy the ground under Acer. It was then transferred to a new company called Ellen Road Limited. The board members include Angus Kinnear, Massimo Marinelli, and Colm Meader, who's of the 49ers. The Athletic confirmed ongoing talks around the ownership are still taking place with Leeds, and the 49ers do want full ownership of Leeds ASAP into the Championship. The proposal to use Ellen Road has not, as I said, at this point gone through, and signings of heads of terms showed a willingness on behalf of Radrizzani to put Ellen Road on the line for Sampdoria's future. Rads appears to have acted alone in this. If you go through the ownership of Ellen Road on December 9th, 2020, Ellen Road Limited had 100% ownership of the stadium. By December 31st, 2020, Colm Meader, Vice President of the 49ers Enterprises, had been added as a director, and the 49ers had taken a 22% ownership of Ellen Road. Radrizzani can do little or nothing with the stadium without written consent from the San Francisco 49ers and 49ers Enterprises. What I should also say is that in June 2021, an additional 7% of Ellen Road was transferred to the 49ers, which leaves the current ownership of Ellen Road with Radrizzani at 71% and the 49ers at 29%. The key wording on this is he cannot do anything with Ellen Road without written consent from the 49ers. And as the Athletic article said yesterday, the 49ers have said that they are unaware that this was done, as was Angus Kinnear, and nobody outside of Andrea Radrizzani seems to know anything about this process. As I said, it hasn't gone through, which is good news. It probably couldn't go through, but the fact that there is written proof of a head of terms means he considered it, thought about it, and there was a willingness from him to do that. Again, which was said yesterday, should Sampdoria, had it gone through, had it been done, and should Sampdoria hit any kind of financial problems in the future, Ellen Road could have been seized, sold, and used to repay the debts from Sampdoria. That's how a guarantee and security deposit works on a loan, I suppose. In terms of the ownership, according to Athletic, there are fresh frictions between Radrizzani and the 49ers, which is hardly surprising. The 49ers had hoped that Radrizzani buying Sampdoria last week would expedite the process in getting them the increased 56% shares of Radrizzani's that they want to take full ownership of Leeds. In the middle of all of this going on, Angus Kinnear seems to have been left to run the show, and he is the one that is being named as heading up the recruitment for the new manager's position. The 49ers are keen for Kinnear to stay on in an executive level role after the takeover happens in order to help with an easy transition from ownerships. The scouting network of the club has also been mentioned. Leeds still have a scouting team in place. It's just minus Director of Football Victor Orta and Gabby Ruiz. The rest of the team is still in place and is still following up on targets and lists made earlier in the year by Leeds. Kinnear and his staff have also been in charge of getting the players set for their off-season break, and along with the medical team and the fitness staff have actually put together their fitness programs for their off-season. That's been organised as well. And a return to pre-season date has been set, as well as Kinnear working on the summer tour for Leeds as well. Leeds City Councils also stepped in on the Ellen Road situation as well, and they have basically on the asset of community value. This was the piece that basically stopped Ellen Road from being shifted unless the community were involved in this or the ownership and the trust were all giving an opinion on this. However, this one states that Ellen Road was listed as a value of community, an asset of community value on the 4th of the 10th, 2017. However, it only lasts for 5 years and it did expire on the 5th of October, 2022, a few months ago. And nobody apparently knew that it had expired, which also adds to why this was done. Maybe somebody did. But it doesn't prevent a new application for this happening going forward as well. So they can do that. Angus Kinnear seems to be very involved with what's going on at Leeds. The recruitment continues to go ahead. The planning for the preseason continues to go ahead. Everything is still moving. They probably have another week before they really need to have people in place in definitive roles in order to organise next season. As I said, the scouting team are still working on targets that Leeds had anyway. There still needs to be a rebalancing of the squad. What the news in the papers going around today are saying that is Leeds will focus on 3 key areas: left back, centre midfield, and up front as the 3 areas that they want to strengthen. They probably could do bringing in a backup goalkeeper unless Robles stays on and Danny van de Heuvel steps in as a second choice goalkeeper, which is very possible as well. Danny's had a good year. Danny's had a good year since he came back from his injury. So that's all that's floating around for now, folks. Just double check my notes. Yeah, that seems to be it. So it's been a really busy week. It's been a pretty hectic week. Again, thanks to everyone who supports the channel and has jumped in on commenting and liking and sharing and all that. I really appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday morning with some more Leeds news. Let's hope for an uneventful weekend in bad terms and maybe a productive weekend and some key appointments over the next couple of days. Let me know what you think about potential managers, and I will see you Monday morning for more Leeds news. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Bye.